Hello, and welcome to The Ganru Show. I'm Golda.
And I'm Wanru.
And this is a podcast that's just like hanging out with your two best girlfriends.
It's like free Ubers on New Year's Eve.
Oh, I need that. It's like making New Year's resolutions in an excited and enthusiastic way, and you can't wait to get started.
It's like toasting in the New Year's with a bottle of Dom Perignon Rose Gold Edition 1996.
Ooh, that sounds deliciously extravagant.
$49,999.
Ugh, so cheap.
In this week's episode, you'll find out how Meghan Markle and Golda are practically twins.
I mean, DNA aside, we are twins. And you'll also find out what Wanru and the Buddha have in common.
The great Buddha.
Yes. So,
Let's get started.
Before we go into our main segment, Wanru and I have an exciting update for you.
Yeah,
Wanru?
Just a little change. A little change in schedule.
Yes.
So as you know, we usually upload our podcasts every Tuesday, every week.
Yes.
But we've decided, in the interest of maintaining the high quality of our podcast,
Yes.
to change the schedule to every other Tuesday, or in other words, twice a month. You'll get fresh new content in your inbox.
Yes. And we're very excited because we already have a lot of plans and production moving forward with this new schedule. We are very excited about the content of this. And to Wanru's point, we are able to focus a lot on the quality and being able to acquire some of these fantastic guests that we have in mind for you.
Mm-hmm. So please don't miss us too much, because there's a lot of old podcasts you can still listen to and, of course, share with your friends. But just remember, the Ganru Show will be every other Tuesday now, and we're so excited to bring you some new fun stuff.
Starting in January of 2019, we'll be seeing you every other Tuesday. Don't miss us too much.
Happy 2019, Ganru listeners!
Happy New Year!
For old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. What the hell does that even mean?
I don't know. Is that a Springsteen song?
No, that's Old Lang Syne.
Oh.
Anyways, we don't know what it means.
You know, my New Year's resolution is to be more familiar with old-timey songs for 2019.
That's a great resolution. But before we jump into 2019, we thought it would be fun to review 2018.
Yeah, it's almost like you can only appreciate the future once you've had a chance to appreciate the past. Didn't Wadsworth say that?
You mean Wordsworth?
Another Wadsworth candy? No, that's Wordsworth. I don't know.
Werther's is
That's
the
Werther's.
caramel candy.
Werther's. So my
Additional
New Year's
resolution.
resolution for 2019 is to quote accurately.
Familiarize yourself with old-timey poets and old-timey songs.
Yes, but in order to do that, one must look back.
Yes.
And appreciate and reflect on the past. One whole year gone by.
Actually, that was said very nicely.
Thanks.
You put it perfectly.
Thank you.
And we are going to give you the Ganru year in review on the world stage, in our personal lives. We're going to reflect on it all, and hopefully it'll be informative.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear from you as far as what all you have to add to some of these topics that we're going to talk about today. And Wanru, what is the first topic?
Okay, so let's launch right into it.
Within the year review.
The first question I'm going to put to you is, in 2018, what was the best thing that happened on the world stage, meaning in the world?
Okay, so not just on my street.
Not
This is global, is what you're saying. Global impact.
Not just at the Ralph's
Okay.
that we go to all the time. No, on
Yes.
a world level.
Okay.
What do you think is the best thing that happened?
You know me, Wanru, how I am a very academic Completely intellectual. I'm always intellectualizing
You
all
sure
kinds
are.
of topics
Mm-hmm.
day in and day out. And why should my answer to this question be no less? Your question was, what was the best thing, Golda, that happened in the world, Golda? That's what you're asking me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to choose a highly important event that happened this year that I'm particularly fond of, and that is the royal marriage of Rachel Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, who, ever since that last child was born to Harry, or to William, Harry is now the 5th in line to the throne. He used to be the 4th until that dastardly child was born. I don't mean that, of course. But it was the marriage of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. That was probably one of the biggest things that happened this year.
Can you say Prince Harry just one more time for me with that rolling R?
Prince Harry. Thank you.
Do you think it's how Queen Elizabeth calls him over?
Oh, probably.
Like,
yeah.
I have an itch on my nose.
Prince Harry.
Come forth immediately.
And use your index finger to
Scratch us upon my proboscis.
Please scratch my royal blackhead on the left hemisphere of my nostrilius. That is the scientific term for nostrils,
God.
right?
This is exactly how the royalty speak, I'm sure.
I'm sure they speak in very highly clinical ways. Like they're not going to say nose. They're going to say the clinical term, which is...
Proboscis.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're making fun of the royals, but imagine like Meghan Markle really has to like ingratiate herself into this family.
All I gotta say is, man, the royal family is so lucky that they don't have me in the family, because I'd be so like all over it and like booping people on the nose, like in front of like BCC or what do they call it?
BBC.
BBC. I'm very intellectual.
Let me quote William Wordsworth while I eat these water candies. Then the royal family would be like, oh, God.
Well, I will say that I am practically royal. I don't know if you know this.
What?
But Meghan Markle is a local Los Angeles girl. So she's a, local girl gone good. And she actually went to my high school.
And did you overlap with her?
I am so much younger than she is. So we did not run into each other in the hallowed halls of Immaculate Heart High School.
I see.
So Immaculate Heart High School is an all-girl Catholic school here in Los Angeles. And she is an alumni of the school, and I'm a proud alumni of this school. And I thought that it would be challenging going to an all-girl Catholic school, but actually this high school was very progressive, and they were run by liberal ex-nuns.
Ex-nuns?
Yes, who were no longer supported by the archdiocese.
Oh, damn.
Which is the Catholic biz name. That's their business name is archdiocese, I think. I don't know if that's the technical term. But her and Harry got married this past spring.
And why was that the best thing to you? I mean, it is a very joyous occasion when an American marries a member of the royal family, not to mention a half African-American woman and a woman who's just so, I mean, she's just so
she had
well-spoken.
her own career.
I know.
She was an actor, and she's best known for that show Suits, I believe, on the USA Network. And what I really loved about her was that you would, under any other circumstances, you would look at a royal wedding as being sort of that fairy tale wedding, right? So all of these young girls and little boys that are watching this from home are like, I'm going to marry my prince or princess or whomever, right?
Right.
And then they look at this combination. So I love that they're a diverse couple. That's the first. And the fact that the royal family is not trying to poo-poo this relationship as far as we know, but who knows? And also I love what Meghan Markle stands for. And she stands for a lot of things that I'm proud to say our high school really ingrained in us, which
like
was feminism, women's rights, equality, And you see Meghan Markle doing that step by step, little by little, in her role as the Duchess of Sussex. Now, I believe is her
may
title.
I say she does it with grace.
Yes, she does.
And let's not forget, she is a stunningly gorgeous woman,
Yeah.
too. And I think that now that it's 2018, you can be a stunningly gorgeous woman.
Mhm.
You can present yourself in any way that you want, as professional, as sexy, as vivacious, as sensual. You can present yourself any way and still be respected as a woman.
Absolutely.
I don't think you have to eschew your femininity. That's what, you know what, I want to talk a little bit about this. I think with the feminists, really the gift that they gave to us, modern day women, besides for the ability to pursue our dreams and our aspirations, is to embrace every part of our femininity and our masculinity. So if we want to be aggressive at work, or if we want to be soft and caring and supportive, we can be all of those things.
Right.
That's the true gift the feminist has given us.
Right. Really owning what it means to be a woman.
Yeah.
Right. And our experiences throughout the years as well, and how that informs how we move forward. So
Yeah, that's a wonderful, amazing, best thing that happened in the world.
yes, and I think that she is a wonderful representative of that, and very excited that she's with child.
Yes.
And that's going to be great to witness in our lifetime. So that's my best thing that happened in the world. Something positive, something happy, something joyful. I wanted to choose something that was embodied all of those things.
Very cool.
What about you, Wanru? What is the best thing that happened in the world
Well,
for you?
I would like to postpone it a little bit.
Okay.
Because we're going to talk about the worst thing that happened in the world in a little bit.
Oh,
so
all right.
I need to talk about the worst thing before I talk about the best thing.
Okay.
So how about this? Let's move on to what's the best thing that happened in the personal realm?
Oh,
Yeah.
why don't you start with that one? Since I want to hear something from you. Like, what's
Okay.
the best thing that happened for you personally, Wanru?
It is the most boring thing, but let's not take it for granted, which is that my friends and my family and my dog continue to enjoy very good health.
Yay, knock on wood.
Yay, knock on wood, knock on wood.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean,
That's not boring at all. That is the most vital, most important thing ever.
because let me tell you,
Yeah.
once you hit a certain age, we're going to start dropping like flies.
Oh, boy. Yeah. So enjoy it while it lasts.
Exactly. And, I think pets are a microcosm of our longer lives. And I look at my dog, and he's starting to get gray hairs around his eyes. He's black fur, but he's starting to get those gray hairs around his eyes. He's starting to develop these things called cauliflower moles.
What are those?
Those are these benign moles on his skin.
Oh.
They just look bad. It's
Okay.
like those little warts that people get as we
it's
get
okay.
older, right?
Yeah. Like skin tags? Are they like skin tags?
They look like little miniature bumpy cauliflowers.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
I like how you're like, oh, that's cute. No, it's
not bad.
hideous looking. But
Okay.
it's okay. It's benign. It
Okay.
doesn't really do anything.
Good.
But he's also very limber. He can jump and run and whatever. So I'm enjoying this time with my dog when he is still, for the most part, very healthy.
Yeah.
But having that awareness that changes are afoot. Like he's changing physically, as am I, as we are all are. So it's not to dwell on the morbid, but it's to appreciate, like, what a blessing.
Being in the present, right?
Yeah, what a blessing it is to be healthy and to enjoy each other's time. So I was very blessed in 2018. Fingers crossed, no one has close to me has passed away or suffered any serious illness. And my friends who had medical mishaps, they bounced back. So again, fingers crossed.
Awesome. That's wonderful. I mean, I think that you're probably mimicking what I'm about to say.
Okay.
In terms of the best thing that happened personally was also, thankfully that all of my loved ones are safe and in good health.
Yep.
For the most part, that's been the best thing. And I think also speaking of health, one of the best things that has happened to me is also just, that close calls are just that, close calls.
Yep.
And nothing more. Just keep it that way. And I think that's something to be grateful for. I think that's hopefully more of that.
Yeah. More of health,
Yeah, good health.
Good health.
Yeah.
Just keep it the same.
Yeah.
You know, keep that train going.
Nice
Bang.
and steady. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So these are all positive things.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the worst things that happen?
Sure.
World stage and personal.
Sure.
wise? Okay. Starting with the world stage.
I'm tired.
Oh my God.
I'm tired already.
I know what you mean.
I mean, regardless of where you fall in the political spectrum, we can all agree it's been a shit show. Right? I mean, regardless of where you fall, right? I mean, it's been a political grab bag of all kinds of not so great things that have been going on. And I think it's hard to choose, isn't it?
Yes.
There's
yes.
so many bad things.
If I had to sum it up,
Yeah,
I would
please.
say the political environment is lacking of compassion.
Yes, agreed.
Where
well
is
said.
the fucking compassion, you assholes? No, seriously. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you have fervor. You have passion about compassion. You're passionate about compassion.
What? I'm so negative, but I'm trying to be compassionate.
Well, passion is in compassionate. So it's okay that you
True.
show that.
True.
I do not hate. I don't hate on that.
Yeah. You know, I don't think the world should emphasize the nastiest and most basest instincts of ourselves. It shouldn't be this grab bag, like, what can I get for myself? How can I feel better about myself by putting someone else down?
Mm-hmm.
How can I alienate myself from other people? How can I'm just trying to think of all these negative, really base, and we all have these primal instincts, right?
We're all animals.
How can I judge someone and put them down to make myself feel better? And I think that's what's happening in the current political environment, where it's about me getting what I can from myself and saying very mean, malicious, and untruthful things about other people.
Hitting below the belt?
Totally.
A lot of playing dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there have been a lot of horrible things that have happened, including the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting, among many shootings, the separation of migrant families,
Yep.
and the wealth accumulating more wealth for themselves. And the worst thing is that people have no compassion for these people who are suffering.
Why do you think that is? Do you think that there's just so much of it that we're all becoming numb to it?
That's definitely part of it as well. But also, I think this is more a deeper philosophical thing, which is I feel like in this world, people feel there's a separation between us.
Yeah.
And the truth is that if you were face to face to such suffering, I think very few people would be able to turn their backs on it. But because it's so far removed, it's in the media and you don't confront these people, I think people are actually much more decent when they are confronted with.
Oh, yeah.
When you say?
Absolutely. I mean, when you take any sort of natural disasters that have happened in the world, you know, when I think about like 9/11, for example, people weren't asking each other, oh, what political affiliation do you have?
Exactly.
Before helping them.
Exactly.
They just did the common decency, humanistic thing of taking care of one another. And I think that you're absolutely right. I think that there's a lot of information and a lot of emotion that is put out there in the atmosphere that's coming from social media, that's coming from, you know, things that are very one-dimensional, and it's hard to understand that or hard to be compassionate for that. But when you see it with your own eyes, I think that that changes a lot.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I would say the worst thing that happened was the lack of a compassion in the political stage, world stage. And what about yourself? It kind of falls into that too?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Just in terms of, it seems like it's several things in one day, and then then it's kind of calmed down, and then something else happens, and I think you're right. I think it's a lack of compassion. It almost feels like, remember when you were kids and you're in the schoolyard, and when you got into a fight or something with some other kid, and you just kept grabbing at whatever just to hurt their feelings or to put them down. You're like, you don't kick very good in that kickball. Oh, yeah? I hate red hair. Oh, yeah? You're too tall. Oh, yeah? You're poor. Oh, yeah? You're dark. Oh, yeah? You smell on Fridays, or whatever, So it just gets more and more ridiculous.
I remember one time I was in a school fight and the kid was bullying us and he was wearing a shirt that said, "Don't worry, be happy."
Aww.
Which is very ironic.
And what happened?
So he was bullying us. He was like grabbing us.
He was bullying you.
Yeah.
The guy with the "Don't worry, be happy" shirt?
Exactly. Ironic, right?
That is irony.
He was like taking our stuff and throwing it in the Almanzor Pond at the local park.
Aww.
And then I finally said, your shirt, don't worry, be happy, huh? That was my comeback.
Good one.
It did not
Good
work.
one, child, Wanru.
It did not work.
What did he say after he punched you in the face?
Threw more stuff of mine into the pond.
Wow, very quick with the quips.
Yes.
Quick with the quips, that Wanru.
But that's what
You've come a long way, baby.
No, we haven't, because this is exactly what's happening on the political arena right now.
Yes.
Okay. But although that is the worst thing that happened, this ties into the best thing that happened in the world for me.
Yes, you're mentioning that. What is the best thing that happened in the world for you?
Which is human decency has risen up again.
Oh,
which is
yay.
Amazing. So I'm talking about, again, you can probably tell my political leanings, but the Democrats taking over the U.S. House.
You know what? Let me stop you right there. I don't think it's political leanings. I think it's your human leaning.
I agree.
Why are we going to make everything political?
Yeah.
It's about being humans, right?
I just don't like people bullying other people and hurting other people and being mean and malicious.
Yeah.
And uncompassionate.
Yeah, be a good person, assholes.
Exactly.
Was that an assholic thing to say, what I just said? Anyway, I got some work to do. 2019, 2019. Okay. All right. Go on,
exactly.
Wanru. Sorry to interrupt.
But more women running for office.
Yes.
The huge turnout in the midterm elections.
Amazing.
Not like Democrats took over every governor position or every position, but just that they were so close in many formerly entirely Republican regions.
And he could not make any of that up, just in terms of how exciting the midterm elections were, right? I mean, it felt like a movie.
Yeah.
It was very exciting to see an American electoral process at work.
I loved it. Yeah.
And people participating in that, I think, was very exciting, regardless of where you fall on the spectrum. It's still very exciting to see people exercising their rights. Yeah,
absolutely. And just even how galvanized the country was. You know, I mentioned the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting.
Yeah.
And how the students just organized themselves.
Amazing.
And became galvanized in their cause. And they really began to speak up. And they actually changed some of the advertising policies of major companies. So major companies have actually withdrawn their sponsorship of certain shows which have attacked the Stoneman Douglas students.
Wonderful.
Rightly so, assholes. But anyways, and lastly, I know that people mock it, but the Me Too movement has been huge for me personally and psychologically, because it actually caused a change at my work. Someone got laid off. Okay, sorry, this may result in a lawsuit, but I'm not going to say where I work. But someone was laid off due to inappropriate behavior towards women.
Wow.
And I myself began to change my thought process about how men engage towards me. And I thought to myself, if I have a little girl, if like I gave birth to a little girl today, I would want to instill in her just respect for her body.
Yeah.
And respect for her personal space and respect for herself to be able to speak up.
Right.
And this would not have happened if the Me Too movement didn't start, because it got me thinking about this whole process. And I thought, how is it okay for men to do things to women's bodies that a man would never do to another man?
Right.
No man would ever put another man in this situation where they feel uncomfortable or intimidated or physically invade their personal space or violate them. But it happens every day with women.
Yep,
So
sure does.
if I had a daughter today, I would instill in her a totally different sense of values. And I continue to do that among my friends and my goddaughters and young women. I want to instill in them this strength of resolve to protect their personal space.
Yeah.
And Me Too did that for me.
Yeah, empowered a lot of us, I feel like, and it sort of lifted that veil of what women have come to think of as normal behavior or normal circumstances, and we never questioned it because it was presented in such a way that was so normal. I'll give you an example. How many of you as women were taught as kids, oh, give your uncle a kiss, hello. Or go hug your auntie. Go hug your auntie for giving you a great birthday gift. Or before you go, you have to give me a hug.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
How many of you guys have? I know I have. And I know that there is now a thought with a lot of new parents that they're not saying that to their kids, male or female. You know, they want to instill that they are in charge of their own bodies, and it's not up to an authority figure to tell you what to do or to tell you what's appropriate or right in terms of physical touch or comfort zones, right?
Totally, yeah.
So something like that, where me as a kid, I would never even think to question that. I just do what I'm told, right?
Yeah.
And who knows what sort of ramifications that's had. I mean, not to get deep here, but you know, absolutely. I think the Me Too movement has really shed some light on those hidden crevices and corners and things that has happened to women over centuries.
Yep.
I mean, even as early as the last women's movement in the late 60s, early 70s. Still, you know, a lot of BS going on even after that. And despite how many progressive movements forward a lot of our feminist mothers and leaders have done for us, we're still fighting that. And it feels like we're now getting, I feel like it's more exposure.
Yes.
It feels like more exposure, and there's a lot of movement behind that exposure.
And it's lifted the shame off of it.
Absolutely.
Because all these celebrities are coming out with their stories. And I read Richard Dreyfuss's son's account. So Richard Dreyfuss is an actor. He was in a play with Kevin Spacey. And his son is an aspiring actor, often visited him on the set of the play, which Kevin Spacey was directing. I read his son's account of his sexual violation by Kevin Spacey. And here is he was about 21, 22 at the time, year-old young man who, this is probably the most humiliating, painful thing that happened to him.
Sure.
And he's the son of a very famous actor. And his father also learned about it and was deeply ashamed. Well, we'll pause right here. Okay. So he's the son of Richard Dreyfuss, who's a very well-known actor. And the two of them shared this deeply painful and humiliating story. And good on them. Yeah. And it was prompted by the Me Too movement. And what it does now, it allows men and women to really speak their truth. Yeah. And I know that men might feel like they're under attack, but actually in the long term, it's better because now you can act towards a woman in the way you want, or I'm just saying to each other, we can act towards each other the way we want because we feel comfortable enough to say no when we don't want it. So I think that it's a great feedback loop now, you know, where men, if they feel the urge, like, I want to give you a hug, and the woman's like, I want this hug, that's okay too. Do you know what I mean? Because the woman isn't just accepting the hug and just bearing it. You know, she'll tell you if she doesn't like that hug.
So interesting that you should say that, because it just reminded me of a coworker of mine who's from another group, another division, and soon after, like the height of the Me Too, I'm sure it's going to keep going. I know it, but in the height, and I hadn't seen him in a long time. He said, "Golda," and then he was coming towards me to hug me. Yeah. But before he did that, he said, permission to give you a hug? And he looked really concerned, like he didn't want to cross any boundary or get in trouble for that matter. Right. But he didn't want to. So that was interesting because I don't think I've ever experienced that from anybody before, saying permission to hug.
And how did you feel?
It was weird. It was odd because I've never had anybody say permission to hug. People just usually do it, without asking your permission. They'll just do it because they feel a kinship to you or comfortable with you or who knows, just because they want to, right? Yeah. And he was like, he stopped himself and he's like, "Oh, permission to hug?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, oh sure, yeah, okay."
Better that than come here for a hug and then it's lingering and hands wander, right?
Yeah, creepy. So wonderful, Wanru. I love. I would have to agree with you as far as how the Me Too movement has really progressed. And like it feels a lot stronger this year than it has last year. I think last year that we had the Women's March? It was, wasn't it?
2 years ago.
2 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like every year since then has been, some steady progress.
Yes, and I think it's a direct reaction to just the meanness and inconsideration in the world. Okay. So
awesome.
That was the worst thing that happened in the world, which tied into the best thing that happened in the world. We promise it's going to get lighter, but we have just one more topic.
Yes.
Which is the worst thing that happened personal
level.
level.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
So mine is actually not that bad in comparison to the world stage, what's happening. But it was just my breakup, my relationship, my romantic relationship, which ended in March or so. Mm-hmm. And not to criticize anybody, but I got dumped. Okay, I'm just going to be frank. Okay. And this is not a criticism on the other party. It is just one of those things that happened. But as is with any romantic breakup, you take it pretty hard and you have to pick yourself up by the bootstraps and find your motivation again in life.
The silver lining of that experience too, right? Is what you're looking for.
And I felt like I learned a lot about myself and I learned compassion for other people. In this case, my former romantic partner, my ex, I developed a lot of compassion. No, trust me, there was anger too.
I was going to ask you, were you at a stage at all where you're like, that MF?
Yeah, sure. All the time. Every day. You do that every day for like months.
I'm going to egg his car. Not that I would ever advocate that. Don't do that. That'll ruin it.
You have images of like throwing stuff on the lawn and lighting it on fire.
Lighting it on. Yeah.
That happens all the time. But overall,
waiting to exhale moment.
Yes. Shoot.
No, that's a different song.
Wrong song.
We're thinking the Whitney Houston song is what we want.
Right. Which is
we'll link it to the show notes.
So yeah, you definitely have those waiting to exhale moments where you want to put all the stuff on the lawn and burn it. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. In your mind.
Yeah, just in your mind.
Just in your mind. Okay.
Don't pollute the air with those burnings.
We have enough carbon emissions as it is.
Yes.
But it was just the way number one, the way my friends rallied around me and supported me. They got your back. My girls got my back. My guys got my back too.
Yeah.
But also the way you find your own motivation in life, because if you're doing it right, you're putting so much energy into making another person happy and working on a relationship. So now it's like, I got to work on myself.
What a drag. It's work, isn't it?
It's work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I felt like I handled myself well and I came out of it with, like feeling good and feeling full of self-respect.
Yeah, you're definitely so much more dignified than I would be.
So what would you do? What would you do, Golda, if someone dumped your ass?
If someone dumped my ass, which has never happened. But whatever. So I'm going to kind of like throw myself out to relate. No, I'm just totally kidding.
I mean, because she's like Meghan Markle. Like nobody dumps Meghan Markle.
No.
Go ahead.
No, I think for what if I were you, I mean, it would depend on the situation. But if I were you, I'd probably be like, if they're all like, let's talk, let's figure this out. I'd be like, there's nothing to talk about. Talk to the hand. Is that people still say that? I would say that. And probably I would like unfriend them.
I did do that.
Oh, you did? Okay, good.
Yeah, but that's just for my own mental health, though. Yes. You don't want to be following every single thing that they're doing, going, now he's enjoying this without me, and now he's hanging out with this girl,
and
right?
I do not believe in when someone says, you know what, I'm going to dump you, but can we just continue to be friends? The answer is I'm like, and so I'm not good enough to be your girlfriend, but you just want to be friends with me. I would talk like that in response.
You completely changed your whole demeanor.
I would turn into a valley girl in an instant if I was ever confronted in such a manner. But yes, I think you're definitely very dignified. You're very, very mature in how you handled all of that.
And by the way, I am no better than anyone else. I think all the most horrible things and I think the most negative things, but it's about choosing what you want to act on. And we are not children. We can't just act upon every urge that you have.
And I think too that you have to give yourself time to grieve,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So you can't just shove it under the rug and say, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. You actually have to grieve because that was an investment of time and emotion and energy and everything else.
Totally, yeah.
And now that that person is no longer in the picture, and what are you going to do? How are you going to move forward? And I find that listening to love songs,
I love that,
on an endless loop
is awesome.
Does not help.
Oh wait, what? What? Have I been doing it all wrong?
You can't be all listening to like Air Supply and Tony Braxton and stuff. You can't do that.
That's all my playlist.
No,
Air Supply,
girl.
Tony Braxton.
No, you cannot. You cannot. Don't know Michael Bublé.
Karen Carpenter.
No, her voice is so depressing.
I know.
You have to have uplifting voices.
Okay.
So no Adele, even though how much I love me Adele.
Oh, I listen to a lot of Adele.
But don't listen to these songs when you just broke up with somebody. You got to listen to like happy songs. Like kids songs.
What?
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Make me insane. The wheel on the bus go round and round.
Round and round, round and round.
And you just want to cry. Okay.
No, but if you listen to Air Supply, I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. You're going to want to like take a nosedive and off the bridge. You don't want to listen to that.
No,
don't listen to that.
It helps because it lets you work those feelings out. Anyways, you find your own process.
Yes.
If
mine is do not listen to love songs. Listen to happy, like kindergarten songs.
Try both and see which works for you. So anyways, that was the worst thing, but it's not really that bad. I mean, it was a hit. It was like, boom, I got hit. Then you just dust yourself off and then you make sure all your teeth are there and then you just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And
what
you
about
reemerge like a phoenix from the ashes.
I wish I could say that I did.
You ever see Harry Potter? Like Dumbledore, the main wizard guy, he had a phoenix. And the phoenix went in from the ashes. And then when he reemerged, he became an even more beautiful phoenix.
Oh my God.
It's the most wonderful analogy. Look it up and rent it. It's on HBO, I think HBO.
I'm like Khaleesi, Daenerys Targaryen, entering the fire with 3 supposedly dead eggs. And I came out, I got 3 baby dragons.
You sure do. And then the fire did not singe your hair or eyelashes or anything. Just your clothes. Your barbarian clothes.
Right. I'm naked, but looking good.
Yes.
Yeah. A little dusty.
Yes.
That's going to be the name of my rap album in 2019.
A little dusty?
Me and my 3 baby dragons.
I was wondering why a little dusty is. Well, think of Lil, L-I-L apostrophe Dusty.
Okay, all right.
That's a pretty good
That's
one.
That's not bad.
Or baby dragons. That's a good one too.
Good one, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the worst thing that happened to you personal?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that, as much as I said that, family and friends are all good, thankfully healthy, we did have a little bit of a scare with my stepdad, but he's on the mend. And he's doing a lot better than he was prior, but it was a really scary time. And kudos to my mom who like pulled out like a MacGyver series of moves just to get him to the hospital and to get him the care that he needed. It was truly an inspiring tale that my mom told me about what had happened because they are in the Philippines and they retired in the Philippines. And they're in a very small island in the Philippines where there's not a whole lot of medical care or sophisticated medical care. So my mom had to be very resourceful, ingenious, completely MacGyver
Amazing.
about getting him the appropriate and really wonderful health care that he eventually did get. So that would probably be the worst, but it ended up well so far.
Yeah. Because your mom is so strong and so resilient.
Yeah, she sure is.
Right?
She's very she's the person in a zombie apocalypse that you want around. Because she's Carol. If anybody watches Walking Dead, she's Carol.
Just a strong.
Carol is the woman in Walking Dead who's sort of the older woman, not that much older, but she's the older woman, and she was in an abusive relationship.
Oh.
And she was sort of a mousy, passive woman, had a kid, and she would do whatever, and she would cry at everything, that kind of person.
Uh-huh.
And the way that her character has just changed over the seasons, she is like this badass, like Linda Hamilton from Terminator. She is like a badass warrior.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I liken to my mom.
And that's your 2019 album.
What's that?
Badass Warrior.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Badass warrior.
All right, so I'm glad that turned out so well.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, so we're going to lighten it up now, okay?
Yes.
That was a lot of heavy stuff.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about more fun things.
Okay.
What was the product of 2018?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it?
Oh, you're asking me?
I'm asking you.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to get really highly frivolous here and maybe bougie, but what are you going to do?
Do it. You got to go there.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So this past year, we went to Paris. And
Not me and her.
No,
I'm not bougie enough for Paris.
Oh, come on. Japan. World traveler. Wanru's been to so many wonderful places. I'm just catching up.
Yeah.
So we went to Paris, and so I may have gone a little overboard.
When you are in Paris, you will have to do what the French do.
Oui. I got really nasally there.
Oui, oui.
Oui, oui, mon chéri. Such all the French people are like turning off this podcast right now.
This is a travesty. All right.
No, is that French?
It is French.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So that was accurate. Okay. So the best thing was going to Paris, and France is known for so many wonderful things like art and painting and architecture and cuisine, right? But the one thing that French folks are really great at, that is my Achilles heel, are purses.
Fashion.
Purses. Not fashion for me. Like, I will dress pretty okay, pretty straight down the middle average. But when it comes to my purses, I take great pride.
She has an amazing collection of purses.
What is it? What is it about purse? I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just going to accept it.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. I'm not going to question it.
It's
her
my
thing.
Joy. It's her thing. Yeah.
It's my thing. You know it, right? Are you a purse person, Wanru?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
I was going to, but okay.
I have been known to put things in a canvas grocery bag and carry it around. But that's just me. That's me. Don't follow me. Follow Golda, whatever you're.
Well, I wouldn't poo-poo those canvas grocery bags because they can be quite fashionable. Do you remember the IKEA bag? Do you know those big blue IKEA plasticky not even canvasy, the crinkly kind of bags?
Yeah. Well, what are they?
Well, a very well-known designer called Balenciaga, which is their products are thousands upon thousands of dollars for a small wallet. But so their purses are even more expensive and coveted. They designed, Balenciaga, one year, a purse that looked exactly like the blue IKEA bag. And people were, this is kind of funny.
Hey.
People were walking around with the IKEA bag. and like hiding the IKEA sign on the side so that people will think that they were like wearing a Balenciaga bag.
I am very fashion forward. Yeah.
You don't even know.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
But you didn't get that one.
No. So I went to the Grand Dame Louis Vuitton.
The Louis Vuitton flagship in Paris?
The flagship, which is on the Champs-Élysées.
Oh, zut alors. Magnifique.
Oh, la la.
Oh la la.
Ça sent. That was not a French shampoo, by the way. That was some guy from Jersey that called himself Vidal Sassoon.
Okay, anyways.
So we went to the flagship store, the Louis Vuitton store in Paris on Champs-Élysées. Is the same street that the Arc de Triomphe is at. And here is a little known fact. It is 2 stories. And when you enter, you are provided your own salesperson. You have to wait, though. If you are a citizen of the world like myself, they will provide you a sparkling water, perhaps some champagne, as you wait for your person. They will only allow a handful of people at a time to go into the store. So you have to wait.
Whoa, how long did you wait?
Oh, we did not have to wait because of my aura.
Whoa.
We were allowed in, and probably because it was late in the afternoon and everyone else had already got in. So we went in, and I already knew what I wanted, which was it's a tote bag. I ended up with more things, but we initially had gone there for a tote bag, and it's specifically called the Never Full bag, which is a gigantic tote. And it's so big that I read that you can put so many things in there that you can carry 200 pounds.
Whoa.
In that tote bag. So if you wanted to put a person in there, a 200-pound person in there, you could, and it wouldn't break.
Okay. You don't have to say how much you paid for it, but in the ballpark, what is the range of the Never Full tote bag, the Louis Vuitton Never Full?
Ballpark. In pesos?
In US dollars.
Oh, US dollars. I think it's cheaper when you get it in Paris because you also have duty free. Okay. So you get money back at the end. But in America, let's say if you were to buy it at, Beverly Hills down the street here, it would probably cost about $1,600
okay.
before taxes.
Okay, $1,500 to $1,600.
It's about what you would pay for a designer purse, give or take, right?
Ballpark. My canvas tote, $5. But anyways, keep going. So you go in, you want to get
IKEA, 99 cents, I think.
Or free if you somehow are able to shove it in your
just
car.
kind of fold it in your purse. Not that we would ever advocate that.
No, never.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah. And then what they do, and not in all LV stores, Louis Vuitton stores, but they can monogram your initials on certain products, like this purse or a wallet or what have you. Yeah. And actually, it's right over there.
Maybe we can ask Gertie to help get us
the Louis Vuitton. So I got I forget what the design is. I should be better at this, but it's the dark brown and light brown. It looks like a little cake design, and the inside is red. And so I actually videotaped the woman who was monogrammed mine.
Is this free or just like another $150?
No, it's free. And then they give you all kinds of like drinks and things. So this is the,
wow.
Thank you, Gertie. So this is the purse right here, which I use for work.
Is
that lovely?
Gorgeous.
So so what you need to do if you want to see what we're talking about is go on our YouTube site and you could see it.
So let me describe it to you guys. It's about the size of an IKEA bag that you might get, to put your little tchotchkes in there.
Yeah.
It's got a very slender, dark brown handle.
Yeah.
Including a dark brown shoulder strap, a red interior, the classic Louis Vuitton checkered pattern.
Yeah, not the monogram. Right. Yeah. That's the popular one as well, which is beautiful.
This is small checks, I would say.
Yeah.
And small Louis Vuitton writing. It doesn't have a blaze. Like it's not right. Like a huge logo. Yeah. And your initials on the handle. Very, very subtle. Very nicely done.
Beautiful. I decided to have the initials in red to match the red interior.
So when you look at it, what feelings does it give you?
Oh man, Maria Kondo is right sometimes. You know how I feel
On
about
the rare
her.
occasion, she is right.
Marie Kondo said, if it sparks joy, keep it. Man, does that spark jubilation and joy and all kinds of emotions.
Does that
I will say.
give you joy right down to your very cockles of your heart?
Into the to the cockles of my heart and beyond.
Whoa.
In the nether regions.
Whoa.
Hello. Yes.
It's gone into another dimension in her body. The
Yeah.
joy has permeated.
I mean, from even the tips of my hair follicles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy about this purchase. That's the best product for me.
Amazing. And for me, I'm not really into handbags, but even I can recognize something like that will last you a lifetime.
I mean, it looks like new. And I'm like thrashing that thing around like in my office, in my car, in the grocery store.
Yeah.
And traveling with that too. It's like I shove it under the seat. It's still beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just so it's a workhorse. It's the workhorse purse.
Well, that's fantastic.
That's my favorite product. And if you are inclined to get any sort of purse, that's a good one to get in your collection. Worth the investment.
I also think it's a good product because it has so many positive memories associated with it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Being in Paris, getting it monogrammed, having that A+ service, service. Yeah, all of that ties into the product.
I will say that when we were at the Louis Vuitton store, there were so many people there, right? And they had multiple bags like on their arm, and they were looking at themselves in the mirror to see like which ones was which. And there was who I thought would have been my auntie from the Philippines that was there, and she had it in her mind what she wanted to get, right? And I was so excited because it's kind of exciting being there.
For sure.
And so, whether they like it or not, I'm giving my opinion on what people should buy.
So what were you saying?
Oh, so she's like, I don't know which one I like. Do I want the handle for the handbag, or do I want the crossbody? I don't know which one. And she's like looking at herself in the mirror, trying to determine. And her husband is looking so pissed off and bored. He does not want to be there. And
what did you say?
Oh, and I said, oh, you must go with a handbag. You must go. That is very elegant. It's very French.
Oh la la.
She's like, I think you're right. But she kept looking at anyway. Like when we left, she was still looking at stuff. But we were doing that with other people, like in the store. People were, talk about compassion. It's at a Louis Vuitton store.
And by the way, all the salespeople are like trying to like wrangle Golda, and she's like taking over the whole sales floor.
Oh, I'm totally like, not even being asked my opinion of these other women and gentlemen that are searching for luggage and various things. And, I'm just roaming around the store. I'm not even like an employee. And I'm just providing my opinion as far as what to get. Yeah, it was really lovely. What about you, Wanru? What is your product of the year?
There's no tangible thing in this life that is as important to me as my time.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Someone's a little hoity-toity. Someone's going to have a little snobby moment.
Tell me more.
That's why my product of the year is Google Maps. Yes, okay. Google Maps, you have all my information. Yes, Google, you are the conglomerate which is taking over all of our personal data. Yes. And I gladly follow my superior overlords.
That's Google talking.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for replying, Google. That's very out of the blue.
Yeah.
Just out of the blue. Google.
They're taking over the world,
Yeah, and you know what? That's fine.
You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna be finding yourself driving down the street after we tape the podcast. You're gonna be stopping at a stop sign, and you're gonna have your phone on your little holster. What are those holders?
Magnetic mount.
Yeah, your magnetic mount, and you're listening to like NPR or whatever. The next thing you know, you're gonna hear a voice that said, "We like what you said, Wanru."
And I'll say, "Did you like it, Google overlords? Whatever pleases you pleases me. What is my bidding? Tell me what to do, Google."
You must tell more people about us.
Yes, I will on the podcast.
No, not that.
What?
And then Google will laugh.
Google is weird. How come Google's so weird?
Google has lots of time on their hands because Google has parallel lives. Because it's not real as a person.
Anyways, I don't know what when finally Google becomes an artificial intelligence and starts speaking to me. I hope it doesn't sound like how Golda is portraying, but whatever form it takes,
Google is the director.
Yeah.
Anyway, all those Travelers. Travelers is a TV show on Netflix, and it's about AI and etc. You should check it out. It's with Aaron McCormick. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, I'm happy to follow them right down to hell in a handbasket.
So you're doing exactly what Google Maps is telling you to do?
Yes, because it saves time. Every time I decide to go on my own route, I regret it because Google Maps is right about the fastest route.
Is it like Waze?
You can turn it on. You can turn it off. Another one of the benefits of Google Maps is
what do you do?
You can. I turn it. I mute it. And I just use it as a map. But it can show you the most convenient routes, and I use it on a regular basis, even on a route that I already know how to drive because I want to see if there's any freeway closures or accidents, and it tells you all that. So I don't care if it's stealing my data because it saves me time. And let me tell you something else, okay? For you conspiracy theorists who are like, oh, Facebook is listening and Google's listening and whatever, I have a solution for you.
What's that?
It's called the power button on your cell phone.
Ooh.
You just turn it off.
Okay.
You find a drawer. A drawer is another very powerful tool.
Oh.
What you do is you open that drawer. You turn off your cell phone and you put it in the drawer.
Shove it in there.
And the last step is you walk away. And
We're
you know
backwards.
what? Let's and then your problem is saved. And then you can go back to reading the newspaper and thumbing through the yellow pages and
looking at a card catalog at the library.
Exactly. Looking up an article on microfiche and ordering a set of Encyclopedia Britannica. Because that's what you're going to have to do.
I had Funk and Wagnall's
I see.
encyclopedia that they used to have on sale at Ralph's.
Oh, really?
When I was a child. Yeah, another story, but...
another story.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go back to the library because...
Google Maps. Thomas Guides are gone.
Exactly.
And Thomas Guides can't tell you if there's an accident on the 405.
No, they can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Google Maps was very instrumental when we traveled abroad.
Absolutely. That's another life-saving
Amazing.
service.
And what I loved about it was it provided walking map.
Sure.
So what's the best for a walking route, which was kind of cool.
And they offer alternatives for public transportation and driving.
Oh.
And boat.
And it's free.
And it's free.
Other than your data.
Other than all your personal life being mined for data.
Yes. And So Google Maps now has all the photos that I've taken of my cat.
Exactly.
And can share it with the world without my knowledge.
Which I gladly bow down to our overlords. So I wanted to pick a product that I use every day and that truly has impacted my life. And it is my product of the year.
Wonderful. That's a good one.
All right.
Okay.
So now we come to the end. Oh, nearly the end. Let's talk about our hero of the year, the person of the year.
Oh, gosh. I want you to go first.
Okay.
On this one.
Mine is easy.
Okay.
And it's all tied into the best thing that happened, which was the Me Too movement, which is Christine Blasey Ford, professor of psychology at Palo Alto University. For those of you who don't know, she testified in the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation. That's a Supreme Court justice.
If you don't know, this person, that's 2019 resolution.
Learn more about the world. Yes. But I want to put all the Supreme Court Justice confirmation aside. Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed. The reason why I pick her as my hero of the year is because under pressure on a world stage, she showed dignity, class, vulnerability, strength, expressed her personal truth, stood up in the face of huge odds.
Yeah.
And she's
intimidating odds.
odds. Yeah, and a lot of public pressure.
Yeah.
And I think she shined. She shinned. She's a shining star of a female role model and a good person.
Yeah.
Theme of this whole podcast, she is a good person.
Yeah.
And I admire her greatly. That's why she's my hero.
Yeah. It was more important to her to be true to herself and, to be a spokesperson. I mean, that's really simplifying everything. But, being a spokesperson for standing up for your truth, regardless of the backlash that she knew she was going to get. I mean, even down to death threats and having to move multiple times. And even many months after the hearing, she's still getting those threats. And even though that she knew that was going to happen, she did it regardless. So that says a lot. That's something.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you this. When I don't know anything about Christine and I don't know anything about Brett Kavanaugh, but when Christine is near the end of her life, I think she can be proud of herself.
Yeah.
Regardless of the outcome. Right now, she should be proud of herself. But if I was Christine, I reflected back on my life, I'll be like, I did the right thing for myself. Brett, can you say the same thing?
Yeah.
Will you be able to put your head down on that pillow and go off into that forever sleep and be like, I did the best thing. I did the most noble thing. I don't know, Brett. You got a lot of rage. You got a lot of anger pent up in you. He's got that like frown line in between his eyebrows that you get from doing a lot of like furrowing your brow.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a feeling he does not rest easy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I think that the fact that she did it for herself, but the fact that just the ripple effect of what she was able to do and how it may have empowered women and men.
Yeah.
Seeing her do that, that's very inspiring, very motivating, right? So I think that we're still feeling the positive effects of her making that decision for herself and ultimately how it affects, the world at large.
Yeah. And lastly, I have a feeling that Christine is just the most introverted, sweet lady.
Yeah.
That's just what I got from her, obviously from her testimony. I don't know her personally, but she rose up as an introvert and from what I can see is a very mild-mannered person. She rose up to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So people out in the world, we have to do that. No matter what your natural inclination is, do the right thing.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so that's my hero of the year. What about you?
Well, I think it's very related to your hero of the year in many respects, and she is another woman, and that is the powerful RBG, Ruth Bader.
Yes,
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. This woman, it just does not fail to keep inspiring me.
Yes, and talk about things I'm grateful for. She overcame some health issues in 2018.
Yes.
You keep going, girl.
Yes,
You're trained. You just gotta keep going. All right.
Yeah, I mean, just there's a really wonderful documentary that's available in I believe Netflix. Is it Netflix? Or Amazon? It's available out there. I think it's the Notorious RBG, and it goes into how she started. Her wonderful marriage to her husband, all of the odds that she has had to overcome being a woman in the legal profession, being one of the only women in law school at the time, at an Ivy League school at the time. And then, what she had to do, even when she was on the Supreme Court, to fight for what she believed to be right. I think she's known to always dissent. That is the term that she's the big dissenter. And I think that what she's looking for really, truly what you should be in that role is justice for all. So I admire her. I feel like she is a steady ship, going into that dark night.
A beacon of light, a lighthouse.
Yeah, and she is not going down without a fight.
No, you're not. RBG, we're all rooting for you.
She's like 80 or not even 80. Is she 80? I think she's pushing 90, I think. She's getting up there. But, I hear that she doesn't get a lot of sleep. She's up at all hours. She stays late. It's just amazing. I'm like half her age. And I'm like, peace out. It's 5:00. You know what I mean? But she's an inspiration, and I feel like she is a guardian to us all.
She is.
So she's my hero of the year.
A wonderful, wonderful lady, a wonderful role model as well. I did read an article about her, and she said that having her daughter during law school, one of the most trying times of her life, really galvanized her. Talk about that, to do a good job in school. She said she studied so hard, she worked so hard in school so she could rush home and be with her baby girl.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's just so touching.
Yes.
And she also said her husband has consistently pushed her to excel.
Yes.
He recognized her talents and pushed her into the spotlight, which she would never have sought out for herself.
Yeah.
So
amazing love story.
Let's give credit to that partnership.
Yeah.
And to the love of her family too.
Yes.
So RBG.
Yeah, you can't do it by yourself.
We are supporting you in 2019.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep
More
trucking.
power to you.
Yeah. All right. So lastly, we've been, I feel like I've
I feel like we've reviewed the entire year. Like the world's entire year.
I feel like I've read the Encyclopedia Britannica from A to Zebra.
Funkin' Wagnalls.
Funkin' Wagnalls. What has been your best personal habit in 2018, Golda?
Well, Wanru, as you are aware, my biggest personal habit that I've been able to stick to for 1 full year now, as of October 15, 2018, how I've been able to change the way I eat by adapting a low carb diet. I don't know if diet's the right word though. It's for a lot of folks, it's known as keto or ketogenic, and basically, I follow a modified version of ketogenic. It's not super strict with ketogenic, but what I am strict about is how many carbs, net carbs, I eat every day, and I have found that to be in the one year and a couple of weeks since being on it, it's drastically changed my health. It's been a game changer, and as evidenced by my lab work, and I'm just sticking to it. It works for me, and I think that everybody's body is different, so it might not work for some, but it happens to work for me, and I feel very satiated and full and able to eat wonderful things. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and your blood work is a lot better, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm looking forward to getting I thought I'd never say this before, but I'm looking forward to getting more blood work done.
Yes. That is a mark of a good habit.
Yeah, you ever when you're in school, do you ever do a test and you aced it? You aced it, and then you're going to get that test back the next day graded. And you're like, I aced it. I don't think I've aced my lab work. I still think it's still a work in progress, but it's nice to see the progress. It's going in a positive direction.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's my best personal habit, is going on a low carb ketogenic lifestyle.
And I can vouch for Golda because she has not deviated once, even though I eat all sorts of tempting things right in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, sorry, eating chocolate.
Sorry, not sorry.
Barbecue, kettle chips. Sorry.
Well, I will say that Wanru, when she comes to the house, we always have snacks.
She does.
All of the snacks that are carb, sugar related are all for Wanru. She gets them all.
And
she gets them all.
Eat them all in front of Golda. And she's awesome. And she eats, healthy and ketogenic. And I do not. So far, my labs are okay, but let's see how long that lasts.
Yeah, it's good. It's all good. Everybody's body's different. And I will say that we were on a trip this past summer, and we were in Paris, as you know, with the bag and everything. We bought the LV bag. And I really thought that going to Paris was going to be my downfall, because there's all kinds of good eats in Paris, that I'm not supposed to eat, like croissants and pastries and sugary delights.
Mm-hmm.
And I had actually negotiated with myself that, I'll give myself a day maybe, and, partake in some of these savory, wonderful things. But I'm happy to say that I did not deviate.
Amazing.
Stuck to it. And I feel like I didn't have the craving to eat those sugary things.
Right. Okay. Because you've already adapted to the lifestyle you mentioned. Yeah.
It's keto adapted already. So that's good. I think it takes some time before you are. So thankfully enough, we didn't go to Paris like 1 month into our keto. It was like 6 or 7 months in. So we had been adapted by that point. Yeah. So it's so far so good. Keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah.
What about you, Wanru? What is your best personal habit?
Well, I mean, this is a more esoteric sort of general habit.
I love esoteria.
You do. Probuskai. Werther's Originals. Caramels.
Werther's. Wadsworth Originals. Wouldn't that be a great competitor to Worthings? Or what was it?
Werther's.
To Werther's is for there to be a caramel called Wadsworth. It reminds me of a really wonderful book called Letters from a Nut. Do you know this book?
No.
It's this guy writes these well-known establishments, these ridiculous letters, and he gets responses back.
Oh my goodness.
From them. So one of them was the familiar route to get from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. You pass by this town called Barstow and Victorville. And it's like these out in the boondocks area. And there's this place called Whiskey Pete's.
Oh, okay.
Do you know Whiskey Pete's?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Whiskey Pete's is like a bar / restaurant / rest stop that gets a lot of traffic because it's like the last remaining rest stop before you get to Vegas. So people stop there and it's kind of kitschy. And so this guy who wrote Letters from a Nut decided to write Whiskey Pete's. That's the name of this establishment that's been around for years. And he's like, I'm just writing to you to say, hi, neighbor. I'm about to build a new establishment across the street. And we've decided to call it Whiskey Pat's. So completely lying, of course, right? But sends it to the owner of Whiskey Pete's. So the owner of Whiskey Pete's responds and actually writes back and says, you can't build a place with the name so close to Whiskey Pete's. I'm going to sue you and all these things. So anyway, I don't know why I'm telling the story, but I just thought that
Werther's and Wadsworth.
Werther's and Wadsworth. Like if I ended up, naming a caramel and inventing a caramel called Wadsworth's, I'm sure Werther's would not like it.
They would sue you.
They would sue me. I would be Whiskey Pat's. Gotcha. There are Whiskey Pete's. Anyway, Wanru, so you were saying what your best personal habit was?
Forgotten already. I've forgotten. It's left my mind. I just want to know what happened.
That is my magic skill, is to tell random stories to make you forget.
Okay, so my personal habit.
I should work in Washington, D.C. I betcha that I could probably diffuse a lot of the, tensions.
You would be a great press secretary.
Yeah, I just confuse everybody.
You'd be talking about Werther's and Wadsworth, and people would be like, what's happening in Syria? Hey, you ever been to Vegas?
Who likes caramels here? Me? You?
I know I do. Okay, so my best personal habit,
yes.
I'll get us back on this
yes,
track.
Please get us back on the tracks.
Is maybe a take on Buddhism.
Ooh.
Which is, there's so many philosophies, which I can't remember the name of them. Gertie, help me out right now, called the Four Noble Truths, right?
Okay.
And I try to make sure the way I think and the way I feel and the way I act and the things I say are harmonious.
Nice.
Meaning...
That sounds hard.
It's freaking hard, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of turmoil comes from not acting in a way that you believe is right and not saying things when you want to, or maybe saying things in the heat of a moment and later you're like, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean to say that, but it just came out and I was just shitting on someone verbally.
Yeah.
We have all these moments and it comes from being inauthentic to the way we truly want to be. Because in our minds, we have an ideal, right? Like, I want to act like this. And then life throws all these things at you and you feel all these things. And I feel all the same negative things that everyone else does. I feel jealousy, envy, anger, judgment, all of these things. But then I try to think, what is the correct way to act upon this feeling?
Okay.
I'm feeling jealous, but should I talk shit about that person to make me feel better? No, I shouldn't. That's not the correct action. What is the correct thought? The correct thought is to acknowledge my jealousy and to say, where does this stem from? It's from my feeling that I'm inadequate. And then address that. And then remove that person from the picture, because that person really has nothing to do with me feeling jealous about them, right? So it's kind of breaking it down to sort of harmonizing your feelings, your actions, your thoughts, the things you say, and finding the moment to speak up when it's right, which was a big issue that I had, and not saying things all the time, not feeling a need to speak all the time, which is an issue I had too. Yeah. So, and sometimes you get resistance from people because people expect you to behave a certain way. So you're definitely going to get pushback. But overall, I feel more at ease and I feel like I'm aligned with what my highest self would want.
Yeah, I was going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. You're aligning yourself, you're calibrating, you're calibrating all of the Wanru-ness.
Yeah.
Right. Together. And I think that there's a lot of self-work.
Yes.
That you're doing. Right.
Yes.
And it's really about you taking responsibility for this work.
Yes. True. Yeah.
Right. So even though maybe the less evolved person might be like, I hate him, or I hate her. She's stupid.
He's so stupid. I
see how stupid he is. And, here are multiple examples of how this person is stupid.
I think that all the time.
Yeah, me too. Instead, what you're saying is turn it back on you.
Like, why do I need to point out that this person's stupid? There's no need. I don't need to say it, even if I think it.
Even though he probably is stupid.
Yeah, I think he is.
See, this is the work I need to do. So even I would constantly negotiate with myself. Like, I know, okay, so why? So I feel jealous. You're saying, so I feel jealous. So what I should do is not focus on the person I'm jealous of.
Like, why am I jealous?
I need to ask myself, why am I jealous? Then I would say, I'm jealous because he's stupid.
Okay.
So circular.
Okay,
circular.
Let's do the most basic example.
Okay.
Someone has done something really stupid.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the correct action? The correct action is, it depends on the scenario. It could be to point it out to the person and say, I think you made a mistake. I think this would work better.
Yeah.
But without judgment. Or the correct action would be like, oh, there is no helping this person. I'm not going to say anything. Okay. Then the correct feeling is acknowledging that you're judging them and then saying, is this judgment helping him? No. I mean, I clearly see his deficiencies. Is it smart to point it out? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. And why do I need to tell someone? Do I need to gossip? No, because I'm gossiping so I can feel superior about myself. So I can say, he's so stupid. He did the dumbest thing.
I see.
And sometimes I do indulge in that. That's probably one of my greatest weaknesses is I gossip and I indulge in how stupid people are because I get very frustrated. I do get frustrated. We all experience those moments.
You're human.
We're human.
We're not a bunch of robots here.
Exactly.
Right?
But the more I can fine tune it so that I can withhold myself in those times when I'm being super judgy for no reason and actually just addressing the person in the right moment, you feel better. You're like, oh, I actually told the person that I had all these issues with what bothered me about them. So yeah, it's a work in progress.
And the reason why you want to continue with this work in progress is because I'm guessing you have felt better overall, right?
Yeah.
There are some solid benefits to this.
Yes. So what happens is when you speak your mind and you speak your truth and you act in the way that you feel is right for you, you'll see that all those issues you had are lifted from your shoulders. They don't become issues anymore.
How freeing.
You're
like Marie Kondoing. Marie Kondo, for those of you who don't know, is that organizer. Is she an organizer? She's a minimalist.
She's a lifestyle guru.
Yeah, but her big thing is that to remove unnecessary things from your life, right? So it feels like you are Marie Kondoing these unnecessary emotions that you're putting on yourself.
Yeah. And negative thought cycles.
Yeah,
it's breaking those.
Imagine how the world would be such a better place.
I know.
If we all had this discipline and could practice this.
Well, work in progress, and everyone's on their own
Not
track.
easy, huh?
No,
Not
but I have
easy.
my moments.
When you...
I want to say dumbass.
Yeah, and then what do? Do you say, what does this say about me? Okay, so give me an example. You're driving down the freeway and you're at a safe speed in the appropriate lane, and some dumbass cuts you off and may have gotten you into an accident and countless others. So you want to say out loud, dummy, ding-a-ling. So what you're saying is, don't say ding-a-ling, and say, if I call him ding-a-ling, what do I really feel about myself?
I think it's okay.
It's okay then,
the right
It's okay
action
then.
is to ask him why he was driving that way. Why?
Oh.
Hey, dumbass, why were you driving that way?
Oh, I see.
No, just remove the dumbass part. Just say,
Kind sir. Maybe ill-advised sir. Why were you driving in such a manner as that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you would ask?
Yes, and then like kick his car tire or something.
And then follow him to wherever he's going, and then be passive-aggressive.
Exactly.
And report him as speeding
Exactly.
to the CHP.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. No, don't do that.
Don't do that. It's a work in progress.
Okay.
It's not for everybody, but I think the takeaway is just evaluate how you feel, as you're going through life.
Yeah.
If something bugs you, try to work on that. Like, why does that bug me? Why does that interaction bug me every time? And
do you feel, Wanru, do you feel like it's all, not to get metaphysical here, but do you feel like if you do not learn that lesson, you will just constantly be given scenarios where you are forced to confront that until you learn that lesson?
Yeah,
I feel like that happens.
Yeah, it's so true. And then once you resolve it, it never happens
You never really
again.
have to encounter that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it is freeing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So with that little bit of work up front, you can give yourself a whole lifetime of peace and freedom.
So true. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm getting an aha moment here.
In theory.
Yeah.
In theory.
So we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. Anyways, that one has been our wrap up for 2018. And what a journey it's been.
It's been a journey with our ebbs and flows, our ups and downs, but we made it. Yeah, and stronger, right?
Totally. And we wish you a very wonderful 2019 with more exciting things to come.
Yes. Happy New Year.